we have a major homelessness epidemic right now in the United States of America. We've contacted the police a few times over the last few months just about the fact that we're sick and tired of our streets, our parks, everything just being infested with able-bodied young people who are living a homeless, derelict lifestyle, harassing us and stinking up the joint. So we've contacted the city and talked to them, and here's what the city said. They said, it's not just in Tempe, it's nationwide. They said it's exploding nationwide. Homelessness is exploding everywhere. It's exploding nationwide. And, you know, they said, we're trying our best to combat it, but the Tempe Police Department told us, you know what? There are two reasons why we can't get the homeless problem under control in Tempe. They told us this, and look, this is coming from the Tempe Police Department. They said there's two reasons why. They said it's the ASU libtard college students, bleeding heart liberals who just give them money and food and don't even think about it. And it's the churches in Tempe with their homeless ministries that are screwing up our city. That's what the police department told us. This isn't coming from some radical preacher. The police department said, here's who's to blame, because they don't want to take the blame. The government doesn't want to take the blame, right? So they said it's the churches and the libtard college students. That's who's to blame. Because they said the churches are just giving them all indiscriminately free food, showers, clothing. They just give them everything. And they have no incentive to work at all. No incentive to work. And then every year when the college students show up, the bums hit them up for money, and they just indiscriminately give them money, give them whatever they need. The churches are doing the same thing. He said, please, this is what the policeman said to us, please never give them any money. Never give them any food. Don't give them anything. Because they must have an incentive to go to work. This is from the secular government. I mean, they're telling us, look, we can't control it anymore. It's out of control. And by the way, 25% of the homeless are already registered sex offenders. But we're just supposed to just bring them all in here and feed them with no regard for who they are, why they're in that condition. And you know what I'd like to know? And you know what? You're mad about this sermon, and you don't have to go join the Church of Libtardia, and you'll get all the compassion from them. Because you know what? I'm here to tell you something. Giving money indiscriminately to people who refuse to work is not making their lives any better. All you're doing is destroying our city and turning it into a cesspool. That's right. That's all you're doing. The Bible says, okay, in Abel's religion, not Cain's religion, in Abel's religion, the Bible says that if any man will not work, neither should he eat. That's right. And you know what? It would do these people good to go a couple days without eating. You can go many days without eating and survive just fine. And you know what? I'll bet you they'll end up getting a job around day 2 or day 3 or day 4 of not eating. And you know what? They're going to be way happier because men who work are happy. That's right. They have self-respect. They have dignity. Yeah. But instead, we have 20, 25, 30, 35, 40-year-old homeless. And you say, oh, the homelessness in America is out of control. What are the churches going to do about it? The churches are doing too much. What's the government going to do about it? The government's doing too much. What are Christians? The Christians are doing too much. Why? Because if you feed the bears at the national park, then they won't know how to get food on their own anymore. And look, I will give money or food to someone who is crippled, who cannot work. And you know what? The Bible says that the righteous man considers the cause of the poor. It doesn't say the righteous man just gives all his money to every registered sex offender standing by the side of the road with a sign that says, anything helps, God bless. And you know what? When I drive by these people and when they come here to the church, able-bodied young men, and ask me for food and money, you know what I tell them? Get a job, you lazy jerk. You lazy jerk, get a job. You're disgusting me by refusing to work. And you know what's even sicker is that they ask women for money. They walk up to my wife. They walk up to a wife with 4 kids. Hey, can I get some money? Go to work. Go to work. And you know what? It's just stupid. And these churches, they like pat themselves on the back and think that they're earning their way into heaven by ruining our city and turning it into a den of homeless, lazy derelicts. You know, necessity is the mother of invention. And it's amazing how when people stop giving you free stuff, you figure out a way to get fed. You figure out a way to get a job. You figure out, and you know what? Everybody's hiring. Have you noticed that? Everywhere you go right now, the economy's booming. Everybody's hiring. Every business, now hiring, now hiring, now hiring. Everywhere you go in the city. And you see the same people standing on that corner week after week, month. I mean, I'm starting to know them all. You see them over and over again. And then you know what? The park that I pay for, every time I pay my property tax, every time I pay my sales tax, I pay all these taxes for a park, and I want to send my kids to the park to go play at the park, but I can't because there's a bunch of sex offenders there. Bunch of lazy, derelict, wicked people there laying around, stinking up the joint. There'll be as many as 20 people just laying on the ground in the park in the middle of the daytime when decent people are working. They're all just laying around. We can't send our kids there. So then the park becomes useless to us. And then the library becomes useless to us because the library is just filled with these homeless, transient derelicts. Now you say, you don't have any compassion. No, I have the right kind of compassion. I have compassion for God's people, for my children, and I have compassion for people that are actually crippled and can't work, who wish they could work, and I have compassion for people who work hard and are poor and still can't make ends meet. Right? That's who I want to help. That's who I want to give to and do something for them to help them get back on their feet. But some career bum, and you know what? Look, if everybody thought like us, we'd have this town cleaned up in 1 week. In a single week. If everybody rolled down the window and said, get a job, you lazy jerk, every time they drove by these people, if every single time these people asked us for money, we said, no, you're a disgrace, get a job, you're young, you're able-bodied, you're able to work, go get a job. You know what? It would clean it up so fast because just a few days of no handouts, and these people would be forced to do what? They'd be lined up